Her grin stretched far wider than the moment deserved, far too wide for the blow she was about to land. My retirement party. A room packed with co-workers, friends, and people convinced they knew who I was. "Let's make tonight unforgettable," she declared, lifting the divorce papers like she'd won a prize. Her kids clapped. Mine stared at the floor. I didn't flinch. I simply picked up the pen, signed, and leaned in to whisper, "You don't understand what you've just done." She smirked, sure she'd claimed victory, clueless that she had, in fact, set me free. I married Claire at 58, older, supposedly wiser, definitely more cautious. At least I thought so. She entered my life like sunlight breaking through a long winter, soft voice, warm touch. She laughed at my jokes, even the worn-out ones I'd recycled for years. Her kids were courteous at first, guarded, but polite. I fed them, clothed them, covered their tuition, hobbies, every whim they tossed into the air. They called me uncle that first year, dad by the next. For a while, it felt like I'd recreated a family. Maybe that's why the betrayal sliced so deeply, not because of the marriage, but because I'd let myself believe I finally belonged. It started as a faint whisper of wrongness, late nights, sudden workouts, her phone always face down. But the moment everything shattered was absurdly simple. She walked in wearing a watch she once claimed she couldn't afford. A week later, I spotted the same watch, with the same tiny scratch on her son's Instagram. Only this photo was taken in a hotel room, one I recognized because I had paid for it using a company discount she didn't know I monitored. The caption read, "Family trip, Mom and Uncle Darren spoiling us." Uncle Darren. The family friend. Her ex. I didn't cry. Didn't yell. Didn't confront. My heart iced over. My mind sharpened. Pain dissolved into strategy. Step 1. Silence. People misunderstand silence, they assume it means surrender. Silence is simply preparation. I copied every financial paper she left lying around. Tracked every transfer she made from our joint accounts. Stored photos, screenshots, dates, everything. Met with my lawyer discreetly and efficiently. While she worked late, I worked smarter. I legally shifted my assets into a trust she couldn't touch. Removed her from my will. Locked her out of any access to my retirement once the divorce became official. All perfectly aligned with the prenuptial agreement she once laughed at. She forgot that my entire career revolved around spotting patterns, catching inconsistencies, building backup plans. She married a man who spent 3 decades outsmarting corporate thieves. And then decided to steal from him. I almost pitied her. Almost. So when she stood up at my retirement celebration and tossed her betrayal at me like party glitter, I played along. Pretended to be blindsided, crushed, humiliated. People pitied her. People pitied me. They whispered about how heartless it was to abandon a 61-year-old man. What they didn't know was that my divorce petition had been filed an hour before the party. What they didn't know was that the prenup she mocked protected every single asset I owned. Everything except the house her kids adored. What they didn't know was that I had documented her infidelity beyond dispute. Which meant she received nothing. Not even alimony. 3 months later, the court confirmed it. Watching her expression when the judge said, "Mrs. Daniels, you are entitled to none of the marital assets," was pure cinema. Her kids glared at me like I'd betrayed them. But I had fed them, supported them, housed them. And they still cheered for her betrayal. They were never mine to lose. She cornered me outside the courthouse, mascara streaked, voice shaking. "You destroyed me," she cried. "No," I said calmly. "You destroyed yourself. I just stopped financing it." Her son puffed up, ready to swing, but when security shifted, he shrank back. Claire's hands trembled as she pleaded, "Please, we can fix this." I stepped closer, just close enough for her to hear, but far enough for her children to watch. "Remember the night you served me those papers at my party?" She nodded weakly. "Yes. You thought you were ending my life." I gave her a small, icy smile. "But all you did was release me from yours." I walked away. No backward glance, no guilt, no hesitation. That night, I sat in my quiet home, and felt something I hadn't in years. Peace. Not because I'd won, but because I'd come through with my dignity intact. As I poured myself a drink, I whispered the same words again, this time to the empty room. You had no idea what you just did. And finally, neither did I.